All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 329 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller, and today we're going to talk some Georgia Southern football to end out the week. I want to thank you guys for all the support, everyone who comes through and gives feedback, people who just come through and like and share this content. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. I cannot thank you guys enough. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. We talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Also, if you're listening to this or watching this on the YouTube side of things or Rumble, I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. Just search First and Frame Rates. Or if you're listening to this on the audio side and you want to find out other avenues to listen to this, I am on Stitcher, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google podcasts, so you can find your way if you decide to subscribe of any of those avenues. I recommend you guys to subscribe to more than one, because you never know, one of these platforms may go down at any given moment, technical difficulties or whatever the case may be. And with that being said, you can also listen if something like that was to happen. Also, if you want to donate, hit any of the links down in the description. That helps, grow the podcast and help everything continue to move in the right direction. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Don't want to hold you guys up anymore. Georgia Southern football, we're going to go all in, and we're going to end the week on Georgia Southern talk after talking about the path to the Super Bowl for the Falcons yesterday, how long or where we can go to get to that point. Yeah, it's a pretty long road, but nevertheless, we'll talk about some Georgia Southern football today. And are there high expectations for Georgia Southern football now? Coach Clay Helton came in and basically changed the direction of this team based on where it was the year before, with the recruits, the style of play, the whole attitude of the team has pretty much changed for the most part. Now, we still are in favor of having GS men, guys who are going to be here and do the right thing and be upstanding guys. But you can clearly see the type of athletes that we're getting. We are recruiting bigger, stronger, faster players that are willing to get in the weight room and put in that work, guys that are multi-talented in different positions, some guys who are just sound in one position, that's really good in that position. And with the coaching staff that Coach Clay Helton's brought in, I put myself, not only with the staff that he brought in, but the players that he's recruiting and the mindset that he's bringing, I put high expectations on this team for next year. I don't know what the team's going to look like. I don't know what the first snap's going to look like. I haven't been to a scrimmage. I do want to get to the spring game, but I haven't seen anything. So I don't know what Georgia Southern football is going to look like, but I already pinned these guys with 8 wins or less. I've been sticking with that since December, and I'm still going to stick with that. But I want to ask, is that high expectations? Is that a little bit too high? Is that too lofty for Georgia Southern? Because I think with what we're bringing to the table, the quarterbacks, we're going to break down my thoughts on all of these positions once again, because I do this pretty much on every episode, but I just try to change it up a little bit. Quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, receivers, O-line, D-line, secondary, linebackers. I mean, I can just go on and on with whatever the case may be. And I'm looking at it like, this team could go very far if everything. No team is perfect, so I'm not gonna say everything needs to fall into place. But if we do everything that we set out to do, and we catch a couple of breaks like every team pretty much does, and there's no denying that pretty much every team that plays and be successful catch a break here or there throughout the season. So if we can just play our style of ball, and if it's implemented properly, where a lot of these kids who are maybe used to that style of football but just came to Georgia Southern and they changed things up with the option, if they're able to go back and run that style of ball again and they're good at it, I don't see why we won't be able to be as good. I just don't understand why not. I mean, you look at guys, starting with the quarterback, Kyle Van Treese. To be honest with you, between him and Cam Ransom, I don't know who's going to be the starter, but that's my choice, one or two. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, honestly. If it was my guess to be a little bit smart about it, I would think that Van Treese will probably start and Cam Ransom will be right behind him next year. But you still got guys like Zach Roseman and all these other guys that were recruited that look like they can play. I think Davis Dallas is still injured. He's going to be out for some time. I don't know how long his injury is going to be. I'm not sure. That's the last time I heard of him on the when they had a press conference. But you're going to have to understand, like, the quarterback situation looked like it's very secure. That's not an issue anymore. I mean, it was secure when Shad Wertz was around. Don't get me wrong, but you know that we're running a different offense. And I'm not going to sit here and say Shad Wertz couldn't run that offense. I think he could. Shad Wertz could have done a lot of things if things was implemented differently, because there's nothing to take away from him. The one thing I will say, and I don't want to labor this too long, I think Shad Wertz was not given the proper tools to be a quarterback like he could have. Because I know he had an arm. It just never was developed the way that it should have. And it kind of sucks, but we're past that now. And unfortunately, I really would have liked to see him, use that arm more. But we're going to get into this Cal Van Treese, Cam Ransom situation. It looked like these two guys, it looked like it was 1A and 1B. Like I said, we talked about some other guys that are here. Richie Langford is here as well. He transferred, and it's like I don't know who the quarterback is going to be, but those are my two, 1A, 1B, and the rest of the guys are just going to be fighting for further down on the depth chart. They're going to have to pay their dues. You don't get too many freshmen to come in and just play right away. Zach Roseman looked like he's a prototypical quarterback that can, but I know there's some polish that probably can be worked on based on Clay Helton's offense. It's not a knock on any of those guys. It's just that I know that's how it is. You don't find too many true freshmen come in and just ball. I think even Connor Segelski, he had a good game against BYU, but with him, it was more like he had a lot to learn when it went further down the road. You started to see what he can do when he played against Appalachian State and all the other things. But at the same time, when you look at that, you just don't have the experience. So when you look at that, it's like, all right, he had one good game, this one not so good. It's going to be kind of up and down. So it's not necessarily fair to judge in a situation like that. So with that being said, I think that if you sit behind, a couple of veterans a year or so, you'll get the learning. And once you're a sophomore, all bets are off. I mean, I think, be honest with you, I think if you have the talent, by the time you're a sophomore, you should be ready to roll and start in at the quarterback position. So far and few between. You get some freshmen that are out the gate balling, because there's a lot to learn. It's a big transition from high school to college, and that just goes when I talk about the running backs. Running backs is a little bit more difficult because it's more on instinct. And that's going to be really interesting how that plays out. I have no idea who's going to be running the rock for Georgia Southern. It could be by committee because we got like 4 running backs that can play very well. Now, I'm not even going to get here and just start saying who's what because I don't know. The quarterback position is a little bit more easier to figure out because it's one guy on the field. But with the running backs, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be a bell horse or a bell cow. A workhorse. I said that all over the place, right? I don't think anybody's going to be that one guy that's going to run the rock 20, 30 times. I'll be highly surprised if that's the case. Because you got too many good guys out there. I don't know too many people that are wide receivers. I could have pulled up the roster and really look. But I'm just going to give you some guys that necessarily stands out. Durham Burgess was a guy that stood out. J.J. McCaffrey, so. We got a couple of transfers that are coming in. The Jet is coming in. That's going to be a wide receiver for us. I mean, he's a true freshman. I don't think he's on campus yet, but he looks like a guy that can run really fast. I love to put the ball in his hands. So it is a lot that's going into the receivers, but like I said, that just goes back on the quarterbacks. I mean, what kind of plays we're calling, who's going to be throwing the ball to them, Offensive line just looks nasty right now. I'm looking at these guys, watching these guys push guys around, And it looks like that's, offensive line coach is trying to preach that toughness and once again getting these guys ready to push and knock people over to get the ball carrier running the ball, get some protection for the quarterbacks could throw the ball properly. So a lot of these guys that were here last year are learning something totally different. The defensive line, the loss of C.J. Wright, Christian Varner comes in and play. You got Justin Ellis is coming back. You got guys like that. And even with the loss of some linebackers, we got some guys coming back, and Bradley Glenn is coming back to play linebacker. Kevon Glenn is going to be with us. I like some of the things that Kevon Glenn was able to do when he did play. Trent Watson is coming back to play as well. Quinn Williams, I think Quinn Williams is coming back. So we got. I mean, the linebackers is just so, it's just so it's so crazy how much we got going on. Is that Quinn Williams? I want to look that up. I want to make sure I'm right. Yeah, you got Quinn Williams coming back. Started 10 games last year. Stepped up, great pick 6 in that Arkansas State game. You know what I mean? We got a lot of players in it, and when we talk about the secondary, I mean we lost like 3 players in the secondary. Tyler Bride. You had Derek Canteen. Man, you just had so many so many players that was just was hurt, that didn't really was not able to really play like they should. And now we getting a lot of players back now. Najee Thompson is another one. It's coming back. You know what I mean? We got so many players that are just going to be able to contribute. Mazel Williams, he's a sophomore. Love to see him play a little bit. Played 11 games last year, 111 total snaps. So do I have high expectations for the team? Because I think a lot of guys here are winners. We've seen these guys. I mean, even prior to the 3-9 season, a lot of these guys was here, and they know what it's like to win. So it's no secret to have these guys coming back to play under a new coach, knowing what it's like to smell victory a week in and week out, and be with a coach and the coaching staff that's capable of putting some wins on the board. So when we're looking at the total, the total aspect of this team, is it far-fetched to say that I have a high expectation, or anybody have high expectations? I think this team could win 8 wins, and I know it's going to be tough. When you looking at when you're going up against teams like a UAB, a Coastal Carolina, James Madison, Georgia State, even Louisiana, App State. Old Dominion is coming to Paulson. Old Dominion, we have to go to Old Dominion. Marshall was coming to Paulson. So when you're looking at that, I mean, we have a very good looking schedule, favorable schedule. I think, like I said, the only teams that I'm looking at that we may have to worry about is going at Louisiana, at Coastal Carolina, at Nebraska, at UAB. I think we could take Appalachian State at home. I think we could take Marshall. That's going to be a tough one, but I think we take Marshall as well. James Madison is no slouch. So I think we could take them too. So I'm looking at an 8-4 season with the bowl win, and we're looking at 9 wins. I don't see how that is but I think 8 games minimum. And I don't think maybe that are high expectations. Maybe I'm asking for too much in the first season. I know there are some people that have messaged me and said, like, look, they want something to happen now. They want something to happen year 1. They want to see results. So with that being said, they really want that to happen, and I would like to see that as well, because after a 3-9 season, I really want to see these guys turn this thing around. But we have everything in place to do so. I don't see where it is, I don't see where it's not viable that it won't happen. I mean, am I crazy? I don't know what I'm talking about? I mean, let's think about the reason why it won't happen. I think the only reason why it won't happen is because it's the first year, not because of lack of talent, not because of the game plan. And like I said, I know I'm talking, really premature. I know this is premature, but I'm just looking at what I see, and I'm like, with this staff, how could you not win? Even if I lower the expectations, said 6 wins, how could you not win with this team? The recruits that we brought in, not even just recruits, the transfers that we came in very prominent places. The CJ Wright replacement, the upgraded wide receiver. The upgrades at wide receiver. The upgraded quarterback. It's so much that we've seen that was changed. So it's like, how could you not see it? I mean, maybe I'm sure I see it. I don't think the expectations are too, I don't think they're too high. I just don't. Maybe, what do you guys think? I don't know what else to say about that. I just want to let you guys know how I feel at the end of the week about our teams. Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. I wanted to end it on a note talking about Georgia Southern. I just been sitting here trying to think like what else I could be wrong about. I mean, yeah, you can have somebody in here just to say, hey, Clay Helton can't do. You can have some of the USC defectors or USC clowns. I think I said UFC the first time. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. Southern Cal, these guys come in and want to talk bad about our coach for no reason, but you know how that goes. But what I'm saying is, like, realistically, like, with the team that we're putting together, how could we not put up, 6, 7, 8 wins? I'm shooting for 8. I think we can get 8 easily. Ooh, I know that's going to hit people. Football ain't easy, but I'm just saying it from a fan standpoint. I just think that 8 wins is the minimum. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this content, hit the like button. Share this video, share this podcast, subscribe to any of these podcast avenues if you like. I really would appreciate it. Mean the world to me if you could. I really appreciate it. If you want to share this, let people know what I'm doing over here. Also, if you want to donate, you can hit the links down at the bottom of this, the description, where all the information is there. Like I said, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing. You guys continue to help this go in the direction that's going. We are growing. We are getting close to 1050 on the sub count. Rumble is moving pretty well. And I look at all the analytics and a little bit of inside baseball before I get out of here. Last week, this is phenomenal. Last week, we had over 420 listeners on this podcast. Now that may not seem a lot to most people, but that is a really big deal. Throughout the week, we had 420 plus listeners, unique listeners, last week. Now I can't wait to see what it looks like this week, but that's just, and I'm not even talking about the YouTube and Rumble numbers. I'm just talking about just straight Anchor and Spotify numbers. Now, I don't know what it looks like for Apple. I don't know what it looks like for Google. I don't know what it looks like for Stitcher or whatever the case may be. But I'm just telling you, like, we are growing. And it's thanks to you guys. It's thanks to all of you guys. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. But I just wanted to throw that in there. Let people know what we're doing over here in Eagle Nation, man. Just let everybody know. Let people know what we're doing in Falcons Nation. We're making some progress, and give me your feedback. Give me a 5-star rating or whatever the case may be. If I'm not doing good, give me some feedback. All right, enough of that rant. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to let you guys know that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you guys on Monday, unless if you're on the Patreon. I have a video up on Sunday for you guys on Patreon. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Peace.